Very good afternoon, students. Welcome back to online session. In the previous session, we have seen the purification techniques, that is reverse osmosis process and the ion exchange method. And in this session, I'm going to explain the second subunit, that is the corrosion and its control. So let us see what is meant by the corrosion and how to control the corrosion. So what is meant by the corrosion? Corrosion is nothing but the decomposition of the metal or destruction of the metal when the metal is reacting with the unwanted impurities in the environment. So it is defined as corrosion is the process of gradual aeration of metal from its surface due to the unwanted chemical or electrochemical interaction of metal with its environment. So when the unwanted chemicals are reacting with the metal starts decomposing. That decomposition of the metal is called the corrosion. It is also defined as the process of decay of metal by environmental attack. So here decay is nothing but the decomposition. So when the metal is reacting with unwanted chemicals or the dust particles in the environment, the metal starts decomposition. So that decomposition of the metal with environment is called the corrosion. So examples of the corrosion is the formation of layer of reddish scale of hydrated ferric oxide on the surface of iron. So you can observe the rust formation on the iron. A brown layer is forming on the surface of the iron. That brown layer is one of the best example of the corrosion. It is also known as the rusting of iron. And one more example is you can observe in the silver materials. Even on the silver metals also a black layer is forming. That black layer also one of the example of the corrosion, but which is not stable. It is not stable like iron, that is rusting of iron. But this black layer can be removed very easily by using some chemicals, and by washing methods we can remove the black layer on the silver. But it is also one of the best example of the corrosion. It is called as the tarnishing of silver. Your tarnishing of silver is nothing but the black layer on the silver metal is nothing but the tarnishing of silver. So these are the best examples of the corrosion. So the next topic is the causes of corrosion. Why the metal is reacting with the unwanted impurities in the environment. So what is the cause? What is the reason to react metal with the unwanted impurities in the environment? Because metal not existing in the environment in the pure state. In the earth crust, metal is not existing in the pure state. It is existing in the ore form. That is metallic ore. Metallic ore is existing in the earth crust, but the pure metal is not existing in the environment. So whatever the ore is existing in the environment, that is thermodynamically more stable. But whereas the pure metal is unstable. So the pure metal immediately reacting with the unwanted impurities in the environment and again forming a oxide layer. That means the metal is converts to metal oxide or metal sulfide or metal nitride or metal nitrate, because the oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, these are existing in the environment. So metal is reacting with these chemicals in the environment to form metal oxides, metal sulfides, metal nitrides and metal nitrates. So this combined state of metal is called ore. So ore is existing in the environment, but the pure metal is not existing in the environment because the pure metal is unstable. So the pure metal immediately reacting with the dust particles or the unwanted impurities and undergo corrosion. This is the main cause of corrosion. So simply the metal undergo corrosion to get stability. So next important topic is the theory of corrosion or mechanism of corrosion. You know what is mean by the mechanism. mechanism is nothing but it is the process of reaction. The process of reaction is nothing but the mechanism of corrosion. There are two mechanisms of corrosion. There are two theories of corrosion. By depending on the nature of electrolyte or the nature of atmosphere. So depends on the atmosphere. There are two theories of corrosion. One is the dry theory of corrosion and another one is the wet theory of corrosion. So dry theory is also called as the chemical corrosion and the wet theory is also called as the electrochemical corrosion, or it is also called as the galvanic corrosion. So let us see one by one what is the dry corrosion and how the dry corrosion takes place, and what is the wet corrosion and how the wet corrosion takes place. So in the name only we have the dry corrosion. A dry corrosion is nothing but the metal undergo corrosion in the absence of moisture in the environment. So metal undergo corrosion in the absence of moisture, but the metal undergo corrosion in the presence of chemical. It is not reacting with the moisture, but it is reacting with the chemicals in the environment. So due to reacting with the chemicals in the environment, the metal undergo corrosion in the dry corrosion. So the dry corrosion is also called as the chemical corrosion. There are three types of chemical corrosions. There are three types of dry corrosion. One is the oxidation corrosion, corrosion by other gases, and the liquid metallic corrosion. But before going to see the types of chemical corrosion, we know what are the chemicals present in the environment. In the environment, oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, these chemicals are present in the environment. Yes, so when metal only reacting with the oxygen, oxidation corrosion takes place. But when metal undergo reaction with the remaining chemicals in the environment, corrosion by other gases takes place. So here these types of chemical corrosion is depending on the nature of chemicals in the environment. So by depending on the nature of chemicals in the environment, the chemical corrosion is three types. One is the oxidation corrosion, corrosion by other gases, and the liquid metallic corrosion. So let us see one by one. What is oxidation corrosion, corrosion by other gases, and the liquid metallic corrosion? Oxidation corrosion is brought about the direct attack of oxygen at low or high temperature on metal surfaces in the absence of moisture. So simply oxidation corrosion is nothing but corrosion of the metal in the presence of oxygen and in the absence of moisture. That means metal is reacting with oxygen in the absence of moisture at any temperature. That means the metal is reacting with the oxygen either at low temperature or at high temperature in the absence of moisture. That is called oxidation corrosion. Here alkali metals are nothing but the first group metals, and alkaline earth metals are nothing but the second group metals. So here alkali metals are lithium, sodium and the potassium, whereas the alkaline earth metals, these are the second group metals, that is magnesium, calcium and the tin, are rapidly oxidized at low temperature. That means here the first group metals and the second group metals, these are reacting with the oxygen only at the low temperature. These are not reacting with the oxygen at the high temperature. At high temperature, almost all metals, that means remaining metals except the first group and the second group metals, are reacting with the oxygen only at the high temperature. These are not reacting at low temperature. The remaining metals with oxygen are reacting only at the high temperature. These are not reacting at the low temperature. But only few metals are not reacting with the oxygen at any temperature. That means either at low temperature or at high temperature, these metals are not reacting with the oxygen. Those metals are called noble metals. So those noble metals are the well-known metals, silver, aurum and platinum. these three metals are not reacting with the oxygen at any temperature. Yes, so that is oxidation corrosion. So in the oxidation corrosion, we are having the three conditions. One is the first and the second group metals are reacting only at the low temperature, and the remaining all metals are reacting with oxygen at high temperature, and the noble metals are not reacting with oxygen at any temperature. Now the reactions of oxidation corrosion are as follows. So now let us see what is the reaction when the metal undergo oxidation. So oxidation takes place at the surface of the metal forming metal ions. So when the metal is undergo oxidation, we know what is mean by the oxidation, loss of electrons. So first metal undergo oxidation. When metal undergo oxidation, it is producing metal ions. M is losing 2 electrons to produce M2 plus, and oxygen is converted to oxide ion due to the transfer of these electrons from the metal. So here the metal is losing these 2 electrons. Now these 2 electrons are transferred to the oxygen. So oxygen is gaining these electrons to produce oxide ion, that is O2 minus ion. Now by adding these two reactions, we can get the overall reaction. So by adding these two reactions, two electrons gets cancelled here. So we can write 2m plus n by 2 O2 giving rise to 2mn plus NO2 minus. So this is the overall cell reaction of the oxidation reaction. So this two are forming the metal oxide. This metal oxide is also called as the oxide layer on the surface of the metal. So the nature of the oxide formed plays an important role in oxidation corrosion process. So here this metal oxide plays an important role in the oxidation corrosion. So when metal is reacting with the oxygen, it is producing the metal oxide. This metal oxide is also called as a corrosion product. When oxidation starts, a thin layer of oxide is formed on the surface of the metal, and the nature of this film decides the further action. That means when the metal is reacting with the oxygen, a layer is forming on the surface of the metal. That layer is a thin layer. This thin layer is also called as the oxide layer. And this oxide layer plays an important role, and which decides for the further action. That means whether the further corrosion takes place or not is depending on the oxide layer. So these oxide layers, so based on the action of these oxide layers are classifying into four types. One is the unstable oxide layer, a stable oxide layer, volatile oxide layer, and the porous oxide layer. These are the four types of oxide layers: unstable, stable, volatile, and the porous oxide layer. So let us see one by one. In the unstable oxide layer, already we have seen the noble metals. These noble metals never reacts with the oxygen at any temperature, but forming an oxide layer but which is not stable. Already we have seen in the example of corrosion, that is tarnishing of silver. In the tarnishing of silver, what is tarnishing of silver? Tarnishing of silver is nothing but a black layer is forming on the surface of the silver metal. That is the tarnishing of silver. But is it the permanent layer or is it the stable layer? No, it is not stable layer. It can be removed very easily by washing process. So that is also called as the unstable oxide layer. So all the noble metals are forming unstable oxide layer with the oxygen. So noble metals such as silver, aurum and platinum forms unstable oxide layer which decomposes soon after formation. That means after formation immediately it is decomposing and it is removing. Hence at a given point of a time the metal does not have a layer oxide film. That means after some time there is no such type of layer on the noble metal. So hence corrosion does not occur. So noble metals will not undergo corrosion due to the formation of unstable oxide layer. So only three metals are forming unstable oxide layer. that is silver, aurum and the platinum. These are the noble metals. The next one is the stable oxide layer. So in unstable oxide layer, after some time the oxide layer is decomposing and it is removing. But whereas in the stable oxide layer, the oxide layer is strongly sticking on the surface of the metal. It is not removing after some time. It is not decomposing after some time. So metals such as copper, aluminium, tin, lead can form stable oxide layer, thereby preventing the metal from further corrosion. The oxide layer tightly adhering which acts as a barrier to prevent the entry of oxygen. See here in the stable oxide layer, what happens here? A layer is forming on the surface of the metal and this layer is strongly sticking on the surface of the metal. So when it is strongly sticking on the surface of the metal, there is no further corrosion on the metal because there is no free space to react with the unwanted impurities in the environment. There is no space to react with the oxygen because the entire metal is covered with the oxide layer, that is a stable oxide layer. So there is no further corrosion and thereby preventing the metal from the further corrosion in the stable oxide layer. So copper, tin, aluminium and lead, these metals are forming the stable oxide layer and this oxide layer is acting as the protective layer and which protects the metal for further corrosion. The next type of oxide layer is volatile oxide layer. Here volatility is nothing but evaporation, which can be evaporating. That is meant by the volatile oxide layer. So one of the best example of volatile oxide layer is molybdenum oxide layer. Here molybdenum can form oxide layer which is volatile. So molybdenum forms an oxide layer of molybdenum oxide. This is the formula of molybdenum oxide, MoO3, which accelerate further corrosion. So that means it is accelerating, it is speeding the further corrosion because the oxide layer is evaporating and the some of the oxide layer is absorbing by the metal. So again the metal is exposing to the oxygen and again oxide layer is forming on the surface of the metal and again it is evaporating and some of the oxide layer is absorbing by the metal. So this is the continuous process till the whole metal undergo corrosion here. So in molybdenum oxide layer, the further corrosion is takes place because which is accelerating further corrosion because of the evaporation. So the volatile oxide layer evaporates soon after its formation. So thereby exposing the fresh metal surface to the environment. This process continues till the entire metal is corroded. Yes. So here why the entire metal is undergo corrosion? Because the entire oxide layer is not evaporating here. Some of the oxide layer is evaporating and some of the oxide layer is going inside of the metal. So here there is no fresh surface is exposing to the environment but the surface is fresh but the inside metal will not be pure. It is not fresh. So the entire metal is undergo corrosion in volatile oxide layer. So what is the example? Molybdenum is example for volatile oxide layer. And the last type of oxide layer is porous oxide layer. Porous is nothing but which is having the pores, which is having the holes. The oxide layer is having the holes on it. So in the case of porous oxide film, the atmospheric gases pass through the pores and react with the metal. So here initially the metal is exposing to the oxygen and forming a porous oxide layer which is having the small pores, which is having the small holes. Through the holes again the dust particles or the atmospheric gases are reacting with the metals and the process of corrosion is continuous till the entire metal is converted to metal oxide. So in this process also the entire metal is undergo corrosion because the dust particles and the atmospheric gases are going inside and reacting with the metal surface. So the entire metal is undergo corrosion in porous oxide layer also. So example of porous oxide layer is iron. So totally how many types of oxide layers are there? Totally 4 types of oxide layers: unstable oxide layer, stable oxide layer, volatile oxide layer, porous oxide layer. In the unstable oxide layer, the metal undergo corrosion. Metal never undergo corrosion. But whereas in the stable oxide layer, the metal is forming an oxide layer which is strongly sticking on the surface of the metal and which is protecting the metal from further corrosion. So the entire metal is not undergo corrosion in the stable oxide layer. In volatile oxide layer and the porous oxide layer, the entire metal is undergo corrosion due to evaporation and due to going inside of the pores of the dust particles respectively. Yes, so that is types of oxide layers. So based on the oxide layer volume, we are having one type of rule, one of the rule. That rule is Pilling-Bedworth rule. So here Pilling-Bedworth rule, it is depends on the nature of metal volume and metal oxide volume. So metal volume is nothing but the volume of the metal, the size of the metal, and oxide layer volume is nothing but the layer volume. So depends on these two sizes, we are having the rule, that is the Pilling-Bedworth rule. According to this rule, if volume of metal oxide on the surface of the metal is more than or equal the volume of the metal, the oxide layer will be protective. So what we are saying here, if the metal oxide layer volume is more than the metal volume, that means the layer volume is more than the metal volume. That means the layer size is more than the metal size. So if layer size is more than the metal size, metal will be protective. Obviously metal will be protective because the layer is covered with the metal. So metal is covered with the layer. So there is no further corrosion in the case of protective oxide layer, or when the oxide layer is more, the metal is protective. If the volume of metal oxide is less than the metal volume, metal is non-protective. Yes, so here the metal size is more than the metal volume. That means the layer volume is less and the metal volume is more. So when the metal volume is more, again the dust particles will be react on the surface of the metal. So metal is non-protective. So simply, if metal volume is more than the metal, metal is protective. If metal volume is less than the metal, metal is non-protective. That is the Pilling-Bedworth rule. So this is oxidation corrosion. And the next type of corrosion is corrosion by other gases. So what are the other gases? Other gases are chlorine, sulfur, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide. Here these are the remaining gases. So when the metal is reacting with the remaining gases, also undergo corrosion and also forming either protective layer or the non-protective layer. So corrosion by other gases such as chlorine, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide and nitrogen oxides. In dry atmosphere, these gases react with the metal and form corrosion products which may be protective or non-protective. So for example, let us see the dry chlorine react with the silver. So when the chlorine gas is reacting with the silver, it forms a silver chloride, which is protective layer. But whereas the tin is the volatile layer. So same like our oxidation corrosion, here also may be forming the porous oxide layer, volatile oxide layer, stable layer or the unstable layer. So see here, the silver chloride is forming the protective layer, but whereas the tin tetrachloride, it cannot form the protective layer, which is forming the volatile layer. But we know what happens in the volatile oxide layer. In volatile layer, the entire metal is undergo corrosion due to evaporation. So metal is continuously undergo evaporation. So due to the evaporation, the metal is undergo corrosion in the case of tin. In petroleum industry at high temperatures, hydrogen sulfide attacks steel forming iron sulfide. So here petroleum industry at high temperature, hydrogen sulfide is attacks steel. But the steel is having the iron, this iron is reacting with the sulfur and producing the iron sulfide. Iron sulfide is porous, and due to the porous nature which is interferes with normal operation. That means, so no need to react again with the oxygen. So obviously the dust particles are going inside of the pores, and again the metal is undergo corrosion in the case of iron also. So when the chlorine is reacting with the silver, it is forming the protective layer. But when the tin is reacting with the oxygen, it is forming the volatile layer. But when hydrogen sulfide is reacting with the steel, which is forming the porous oxide layer. And the last one, liquid metallic corrosion. In several industry, molten metals passes through metallic pipes and causes corrosion due to dissolution or due to internal penetration. So what happens initially, we are sending the molten metals through the metallic pipes. So molten metals are nothing but the semi-solid metals. But when it is reacting with the atmosphere, these molten metals are converts to the liquid metals. So when it is converts to the liquid, this liquid is penetrating inside of the metal, which is dissoluting and which is penetrating inside of the metal, and the entire metal is undergo corrosion in this case. So this is called the liquid metallic corrosion, because the molten metal is converts to liquid and this liquid is penetrating inside of the metal and undergo corrosion. So it is called the liquid metallic corrosion. For example, the liquid metal mercury dissolves most metal by forming amalgams, thereby corroding them. So here the molten metal. So initially the mercury is in the form of molten state, but when we are passing the mercury through the metallic pipes, the mercury is converts to the liquid. So this liquid is penetrating inside of the metal and producing the amalgams. So any metal combined with the mercury is called the amalgam. This amalgam is causing corrosion to the metal. That is called the liquid metallic corrosion. So these are the three types of chemical corrosion. One is oxidation corrosion, corrosion by other gases, and the liquid metallic corrosion. This is the dry theory of corrosion. So next theory of corrosion, that is the wet corrosion. In the name only we have the wet corrosion is nothing but the corrosion of the metal with moisture in the environment. So when the metal is reacting with the moisture in the environment, that is called the wet corrosion. According to electrochemical theory of corrosion, corrosion of metal takes place due to the formation of anodic and cathodic regions on the same metallic surface, or when different metals are in contact with each other in the presence of conducting medium. So generally in electrochemical theory, that means in the galvanic cell already we have seen that. So same like that in electrochemical theory of corrosion, on the same metallic surface we are having the anodic part and the cathodic part when when the metal is exposing to the electrolyte. So when the metal is exposing to the moisture, some of the metal is reacting with the moisture and the remaining metal is not reacting with the moisture. That means on the same metal we are having the two different types of portions. One is acting as the anode and other is acting as the cathode. In another type of cases, we are dipping two different metals or we are exposing two different metals to the environment. When we are exposing two different metals to the environment, the metal which is in the top position is acting as the anode, the metal which is in the bottom position is acting as the cathode. So now here anode and cathode are exposing to the electrolyte. So in the wet theory of corrosion, on the same metal we can see anode and cathode, or the two different metals are exposing to the moisture. Yes. At anodic area, oxidation reaction takes place. So anodic metal is destroyed either dissolving or assuming combined state. That means where oxidation takes place, anodic metal is undergo oxidation, and there the destruction of the metal is takes place. That means the anodic metal is undergo corrosion. So example of oxidation is metal is losing n number of electrons to produce Mn plus. This is the metal ion. This metal ion is dissolves in solution and forms compounds such as oxides. So this metal ion is dissolves in the solution and which is forming an oxide layer. This forms the oxides with the compounds. Yes. At cathodic area, reduction reaction takes place. So we know at anodic area, oxidation reaction takes place. But whereas at cathodic area, the reduction reaction takes place. Usually cathodic reactions do not affect the cathode since most metals cannot be further reduced. So we know that the cathodic metal never affects in the corrosion. Only the anodic metal is affected. Only the anodic metal is undergo decomposition. But whereas the cathodic metal is not undergo any decomposition. So at cathodic part, dissolved constituents in the conducting medium accepts the electrons to form some ions like OH minus and oxides ions. Yes, so at cathodic part, dissolved constituents in the conducting medium accepts the electrons from the anode. So whatever the electrons are released at anode, these electrons are transferred to the cathode and gained by the ions. So to form these ions, that means OH minus ions, oxide ions are forming at the cathode. So generally cathodic reaction consumes electrons either by evolution of hydrogen or absorption of oxygen. So here we know that electrons are transferred from anode to cathode. So cathodic reaction consumes electrons. That means cathode is consuming electron in two different ways. Either by evolution of hydrogen or by absorption of oxygen. So by two reactions, electron is transferred from anode to cathode. So there are two mechanisms. One is evolution of hydrogen and the absorption of oxygen. But always at anode, only this reaction takes place. So always this reaction takes place, that metal is undergo oxidation. But whereas at cathode, reduction reaction takes place either by evolution of hydrogen or absorption of oxygen. So first let us see hydrogen evolution type. That means evolution of hydrogen. All metals above hydrogen in the electrochemical series have a tendency to get dissolved in acidic solution with simultaneous evolution of hydrogen. So whatever the metal present in electrochemical series that is above hydrogen, these all metals are having the tendency to lose the electrons, to dissolve it in the acidic solution with simultaneous evolution of hydrogen. So it occurs in acidic environment. So whatever the metal above hydrogen, these are having the ability to react with the acid. And when these are reacting with the acid, which are releasing the hydrogen. So consider the example, that is at anode always oxidation reaction takes place. So iron is undergo oxidation to produce Fe plus 2 and 2 electrons. And these electrons are transferred to the cathode either by evoluting hydrogen or by absorption of oxygen. So now we are studying evolution of hydrogen. So now these two electrons are transferred to the cathode by releasing hydrogen. So at cathode, so what is the cathode here? Cathode is obviously acid here because metal is reacting with the acid. So at cathode, the acid is gaining the two electrons to produce hydrogen. That means here hydrogen is releasing or evoluting. By adding these two reactions, we can get the overall reaction. Fe plus 2H plus giving rise to Fe plus 2 plus hydrogen. these two electrons gets cancelled with each other. So this is the diagram for evolution of hydrogen. In evolution of hydrogen, see here. So this is the anodic part and this is the cathodic part. So anodic part is very less and whereas cathodic part is very more here. And the next type of mechanism, that is oxygen absorption type. That means the below hydrogen, these metals are having the ability to absorb the hydrogen from the environment. Rusting of iron in neutral aqueous solution of electrolytes in the presence of atmospheric oxygen in a common example of this type of corrosion. The surface of iron is usually coated with a thin film of iron oxide. However, if this iron oxide film develops some cracks, anodic areas are created on the surface while the well metal part acts as the cathode. So when the metal is having any cracks and the pores, that crack portion is acting as the anode and whereas the plain surface is acting as the cathode in this case. So what happens at anode? So generally at anode, oxidation reaction takes place. So iron is losing 2 electrons to produce Fe plus 2. Now oxygen is absorbing from the environment. So at cathode, the liberated electrons are transferred to the oxygen. So in the presence of neutral solution. So when it is reacting with the neutral solution, it is releasing hydroxyl ion, that is OH minus ion. Now by adding these two reactions, we will get the overall reaction, that is Fe plus 2 OH minus will be the products. Now by adding these two reactions, we can get FeOH taken 2, that is ferrous hydroxide. If enough oxygen is present, ferrous hydroxide is easily oxidized to ferric hydroxide. That means if enough oxygen is present in the environment, this ferrous hydroxide immediately reacting with the oxygen to produce ferric hydroxide. This ferric hydroxide is in the yellow color. This yellow color formula is Fe2O3 3H2. If the supplying of oxygen is limited, that means if the oxygen supplying is limited, the corrosion product may be even black anhydrous magnetite, that is Fe3O4. That means the gradual oxidation takes place when the oxygen content is limited. So due to the gradual aeration or the gradual oxidation, the black layer is forming on the surface of the metal. That is oxidation corrosion. So see here, the anodic area will be very less and cathodic area will be more. But whereas in the hydrogen evolution type, anode is more and cathode will be less. So now let us see the differences between chemical corrosion and the electrochemical corrosion. It is due to the direct chemical attack of the metal by the environment. So in chemical corrosion, the metal is reacting with the chemical directly. But whereas in electrochemical corrosion, it is due to the formation of large number of anodic and the cathodic areas. In electrochemical corrosion, anodic part will be more and cathodic part also will be more. And next point, it is due to the formation of large number of anodic and cathodic areas. But here heterogeneous surface then gets corroded. Corrosion products accumulate at the place of corrosion. Corrosion occurs at the anode where the product is or formed elsewhere. That means here the product is forming in between anode and cathode in electrochemical theory of corrosion. It is a self-controlled process, but it is also a self-controlled process. And formation of mild scole on iron sulfate is one of the example. But here it is a self-controller process. It follows electrochemical corrosion. Rusting of iron is in moist atmosphere. In moist atmosphere, an example. So here the rusting of iron in the presence of moisture, but whereas in dry corrosion, rusting of iron in the absence of moisture. That is the difference between chemical corrosion and the electrochemical corrosion. So with this, we have completed the theories of corrosion. In the next class, let us see the corrosion control techniques by hot dipping process, that is galvanizing process. Along with the galvanizing, let us see one more topic also, that is corrosion control techniques, cathodic protection. Thank you so much, ma'am. If you have any doubts, you can contact us. Yes, thank you so much.